thank you very much for allowing me to report on the encounter with Indian homeopathy. I have to go back to the last century. Now I'm almost 75 years old, quite old already, and I began to study homeopathy in the early 80s of the last century. So I have a history of 36, 37 years of homeopathic practice. But I began to study in the 80s of the last century with some of the German teachers, Otto Eichelberger, Wolfgang Springer, and some others. And of course, by that time, we had to see George Vitulkas, and I went to different seminars of George Vitulkas and learned a lot, even from his colleague Vasilis Gegas. What I experienced by that time, that they knew everything. This was sometimes a little bit discouraging for a beginner, that you sit there and you have no idea. And I believe now it's very important that every beginner in homeopathy has to find the teacher that suits him, what fits his demands. Because Hahnemann says in paragraph 83 of the Organon, the individualizing examination of a disease, etc., etc. And this demands that you have to be first individualized yourself in order to understand the individual case. And for that, you need to find your individual teacher first. And this happened to me. It was in 1991. I booked a seminar at London University, Dr. Rajan Sankaran. I have not seen him before. 500 participants in the lecture hall. And there was the moment what touched me very deep. He showed a case of an Indian patient, and after the interview, when the analysis begins, he said, "I saw this patient and I didn't know what to give." In that moment, I understood. This is wisdom. The wisdom is, I know that I don't know. I knew this already always before, that the wise wisdom means you have to step back and see what you don't know and try to learn it or try to integrate it. So the words of wisdom are, I know that I don't know. So in that moment I said, I have to learn this. I went to him and asked Dr. Sankaran, can I come to India and watch the work? And he agreed. And so I was very grateful to have met in 1992 all the great Indian homeopaths, Dr. Rajan Sankaran, Dr. Jay Shah, Nandita Shah, Sunilanand, Sujit Chatterjee, Dr. Patwardhan. I mean, it was such a great time, 6 weeks, watching homeopaths doing their individual understanding of patients and prescribing on an individual path. This is something what I want to learn. This is what I'm doing until today, now 37 years. So, but I would like to tell you 2 cases which touched me deeply. I was lucky to be allowed to be together with Dr. Sankaran at the outpatient department of the school. So we went there, and I was in the middle of a bunch of homeopaths standing in one small room and watching patients. I did not understand one word, you can imagine. It was, but there was one nice homeopath standing next to me, translating everything into English, so that at least I understood what the patient was saying, because the the poor patients, they don't talk English. They didn't talk English. So, and then one moment, in this case, I'm telling everywhere in Germany when I teach how I began. This patient was a very poor man with a severe pain in his chest. And he said, it is so painful, my chest is so painful, I can't even touch, and nobody is allowed to touch the chest. And he had a very sad face. This is what I could see. And then Dr. Sankaran asked him, what happened to you? And he said, I mean, I have saved all my money, what I could save for the wedding of my daughter or something like this, a special event. And then the daughter died and all the money was lost. And Dr. Sankaran asked him, what is your job? He said he was driving a kind of hand barrow or push cart. This is a cart who drives the goods through the city, barefoot. This is how he looked like, walking, a hard walker. And now, due to the pain in his chest and all this was happened to him, he could not walk anymore. He could no longer walk. He had no money left anymore. This was 10 minutes of the interview, not longer. And then Dr. Sankaran said, you know the remedy? It is very easy. Pain in chest, touching aggravates. And ailments from financial loss. This rubric existed by that time. And this is a very easy remedy, and even his job reflects the remedy. It was arnica. I mean, he even had an arnica job. And I didn't know that arnica was in the rubric of ailments from financial loss. But that is how I learned to understand not only repertory, but the understanding of the whole case, to combine it all together. So this patient was given, arnica was given to this patient, and the next weeks, when we saw him, he got better and better and better. And then the next case, I promised to talk about 2 cases, and the next case, it's even nice too. There was this hospital on top of the school, or in the first floor or second floor of the school. And so we went after the school day, after the outpatient department, we went in upstairs into the wardrobes or the sick rooms of the patients, with a lot of beds standing in one huge room. The attending physician told us, we were a group of students together with Dr. Rajan, and the attending physician told us, now we have a new patient with a lung inflammation, very sick, in the bed up there. So, and the whole group moved into direction of the patient. In that moment, the patient saw the group. He pulled his sheet over the head and turned the head to the wall. So, when we came closer, the attending physician said, please turn around. This is a professor. He wants to see you. Dr. Sankaran said, leave him. This is a typical feature of bryonia. Don't disturb him. He doesn't want to be disturbed. So, and he was given bryonia, and we could see in the follow-ups when we went again to the school, we could see that he got better very soon. Very soon he got better. The patient got better. So, and this was the beginning of a very great friendship. From 1993 onwards, I invited Dr. Sankaran to teach us here in Munich, and he came here to Munich every year until 2 years ago when the Corona crisis happened. And I am very grateful and thankful what I learned from him and what I learned from all the Indian homeopaths. and what I learned in the last more than 30 years. Thank you very much.